Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Quick look again at Bitcoin, just reevaluating this afternoon, seeing what's going on after that little midday sell-off there, typical for Bitcoin near the end of the trading day. We are about 30 minutes away from today's trading close, so we'll go ahead and take a look at the daily and work our way down, kind of see what's going on here and kind of get perspective on the weekend as to what kind of weekend we're going to be seeing. It does look like majority of altcoins are performing well and holding on fairly strong considering Bitcoin trying to sell off the way it has. So we got to be mindful of that as well. So let's take a quick look at some backend data. I just refreshed this here, and what we're looking at for liquidation hasn't changed too much from earlier, but just to recap, we got a lot of liquidation at about 60,000, somewhere in about the 10 billion range if you add all those together. And then roughly the same scenario here if you average out 56 to 55K. So we are literally right in the middle of the weekly liquidation levels. So honestly, this isn't a super big incentive for the whales effectively, at least until more it keeps accumulating, right? We do have a pretty massive accumulation here. That's about a $10 billion section there at about 52,100. So 52.1 is the heaviest amount of liquidation in the big picture to the downside, and of course somewhere in the 67K range or higher for the upper liquidation. We are closer to lower levels, so just keep in mind we could still see that happen. This is still playing out tentatively. This is a head and shoulder pattern here for Bitcoin on the hourly. So in order for this to continue to play out, we need to see the price action continue lower to this about 56,000 range as a rough estimate. Okay, so that's generally how that's supposed to work. So what we want to look at next is the daily time frame, kind of see where we're at and work our way down, of course. We could even glance at the weekly. We talked about this previously, and just some important factors here. Being under the 20-day SMA, we have been for some time, but that's a big deal for us. Getting over that would be optimal. Don't see that happening right away, but again, ideally, maintaining above the 50-day SMA is the most important thing on the weekly for me. Again, 50 is kind of that natural number. Since we're under 50 on the RSI here, this does lead me to believe we might see a little bit further downside. Granted, the last time we were under 50 on the RSI, it was back here in September when the price action was down about 25,000. So this is what happened when the price dropped down below 50 on the RSI. Okay, just to give you perspective. So not to say it's going to happen again, it's a much different situation, but generally speaking, when we're under 50 here, it's generally considered to be unfavorable. Also take a look here, of course, the MACD is still diverging pretty hard, so we may in fact see a little bit more downside before the price recovers. My estimation is maybe a wick down to 50 to 1,000. I've got some limit orders set there for my spot bag just to be safe. It's not a guarantee, of course, but the weekly time frame kind of tells us that's potential reality. The thing we do got to recognize, however, and this is conversely here, we got a second stochastic swing on the weekly. Okay, generally speaking, when you see a second stochastic swing in either direction, it does carry more weight, and there's more potential for the price action to recover because of that. So again, weekly is still looking pretty decent, even though it's slowly forming. Taking a look at the daily time frame here, let's go ahead and recognize a couple things. First of all, stochastic's trying to swing down. We're under 50 on the RSI. MACD is trying to converge. We got a whole mixed bag here of like confusion, right? That's why I think that's basically what market movers want us to do, is to be very confused by most time frames, because it's a ripsaw. The price action jumps up and down, etc. The key takeaway here is even still, again today, we've had difficulty crossing that 58,500 mark. So until we close soundly above 58.5, I don't have any consideration for feeling like we've broken bullish. Even at that point, we're not bullish. It's that initial shift of momentum, right? We're still under the 20 and the 200-day SMA. They're hanging out right at 59,000. A lot of resistance in this range between 58.5 and 60K. So all the more reason why I feel comfortable personally holding a short position open for Bitcoin, because I'm confident at this point, based on what I've seen so far, that Bitcoin has more propensity to decrease in value than increase at this point. But again, that's just me personally. There's a lot of different things that can play out. Taking a look here at the 4-hour time frame, we are over 50 on the RSI, but barely, but we got a nice little bounce there. Money flow index increasing and stochastic RSI moving up. Generally, that is favorable for the price action to continue further higher. We do take a look at MACD, we're barely converging. This is not a strong convergence at all, but it is one nonetheless. So the 4-hour time frame, minus us being right there at the 20-day SMA and smack dab in the middle of today's point of control, or sorry, this last week's point of control, we can kind of summarize that we're looking decent in the 4-hour. This is a good transitionary time frame. However, again, we're still not establishing higher highs yet. We're still establishing lower lows. So you could even argue that we are kind of within a descending channel pattern, which generally they tend to favor the upside. So again, there's that. Again, I'm trying to reach here because I want you to get perspectives on both sides, because when you make an informed decision, it's not, you want to have all the cards, right? So we can summarize the bigger picture still isn't great, but it's getting slightly better. 4-hour time frame kind of telling us it wants to shift momentum, or has a little bit. And then the hourly time frame, if we look at this here, there's still no full-on confirmation because we're still under the cloud and or this point of control here. So again, 57,900, or just say 58K, appears to be that area of interest for anybody really in the last 2 weeks worth of trading. So that is generally construed as a resistance, so we got to kind of respect that. That concurrent with the Ichimoku cloud kind of hanging out just above it leads me to believe until we break above that level, we have no reason to consider taking a trade with this coin. Okay, that's roughly what we're looking at there. And when I say take a trade, I mean confidently taking a long position. To me, having extreme confidence, I would want to be above this descending trend line first, and that's roughly a few days away. So I don't think it's going to be a weekend where you just go hard and take a long position on Bitcoin to 75,000, right? That's not a realistic thing to do. So no other way around it. Anyways, those are kind of just the facts, the overall situation here. We combine all this together with a potential play out here for a head and shoulders pattern, or the rising wedge breaking down with a bearish back test of the ascending trend. There's a lot of things here kind of leading to the fact that the price action rejected at 58.5 for a reason, and it is more likely to go down than up. That factoring in here to this weekend, if we take a look at that and combine that with Bitcoin dominance coming down, it may be a good weekend for altcoins. All right. Either way you look at it, Bitcoin's more likely than not going to go sideways for the weekend. We'll see. That that has been subject to change lately, but generally at this point, it seems like we might see some green this weekend for alts. So I would kind of steer clear of massive short positions on altcoins this weekend. Generally looking quite favorable to the upside overall, just based on the Bitcoin dominance curve. Okay, anyways, that's kind of where we're at. All right, I hope this made sense. I described that correctly. Thanks again for everybody who's commented and liked the video. Deeply appreciate that. You definitely know who you are. We've got some people that have been watching me for over 3 years now. It's really awesome. Thanks again. If you want to join over on our Discord, we got a pretty good group here. We also have a Twitter, Telegram, YouTube, and TikTok shorts now too. Cool, good stuff. Awesome. Thanks so much for your time. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.